Good afternoon, everyone. I'm very honored to be here amongst incredible people. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you. I think the first thing I told Aditi was I won't ask any questions on modulars and receptors, so it's just going to be on what we both generally talk about. Like Aditi needs no introduction. That's pretty evident with the applause that she got. I think that was the loudest one this entire day. So Aditi, welcome to the Week Hospital Summit. She came on all the way from Bombay to her home city, which is Hyderabad. And before we can continue, it's first to say congratulations to Aditi. She just got married a few months ago. So congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So actually, I was asking a colleague of mine, about Nawab. She was born into the Nawabi family. And this Nawabi, at least the perception is that it's got all the rich food and everything in the world. With all that Aditi was born into a Nawabi family, how do you maintain such a figure?
The trick is to be very multicultural. I actually come from a very, very diverse family. So my genetics are very mixed. I'm a khichdi, like a poster child for national integration. So I think maybe that's the trick. But, I think to put it very simply, I think my mother tricked me actually, into believing that healthy food was the yummiest food ever. So I was brought up on like hand-pounded rice and like avocado salads with cranberries, and it was like sold to me like the most delicious thing ever, and I just grew up believing that. And today, it's not a big deal for me to pick like something that's healthy but also yummy, and I think it's possible to do that. So I think that's how I have managed this whole thing, because I love food and I've grown up in a family that loves food. And like I said, I'm so multicultural. Like I have a Telangana ancestry, I have Mangalorean ancestry, and I have Bori ancestry, and everybody makes the most incredible food.
Yeah. And so there was no biryani and all that in the mix initially?
100%. But I think you should also feed your soul, na? You can't deny your soul. And who said biryani is not healthy?
That's true.
It's very healthy.
No, I asked this question because at the age of 5, she started Bharatanatyam. So I thought it was something to do with the food that she ate, and her parents were ready for her to do Bharatanatyam at the age of 5, just to kind of equal it out. It's not because of that?
Actually, this thing to do Bharatanatyam was mine. But I will say that I had been exposed from the time I probably sort of was born. Again, thanks to my mother and grandmother, I was taken to every music concert, every dance concert. A lot of my mother's friends are artists, sculptors, architects. So I grew up around a lot of artistic people and academics. So I decided that I want to dance. And I refused to take no for an answer, because I landed up at my teacher's class when I was 4 or something, and she said she's too little, but I just would not take no for an answer, and I would land up every day till she called my mother and said, okay, fine, I'll just start teaching her. So that's how I started, and yes, I'm sure it has something to do with everything.
Dance and Bollywood, but before I come to that, it's like, so you also got into, before coming to like general stuff, you also got into yoga later on. Was this because I asked this question because a lot of us don't know what people in Bollywood go through, and nor do I sitting here right now. I asked this question to Aditi because, there are Bollywood actors of late, a few years back, who've spoken about mental health and the problems that they've gone. I just want to know, Aditi, first, as a person from that industry, would you have spoken about that, considering it's still a stigma in India?
Sorry, I didn't get
openly,
your question.
if you suppose opened up about mental health, considering it's still stigma in India, when some Bollywood actors went out and spoke about it. So what's your take on that? Is it?
I think it's absolutely wonderful, because I think there's so much healing in sharing. And I think it's really important to normalize whatever difficulties people are going through, and not treat it like, like not walk on eggshells around issues that should be spoken about comfortably and freely. And I think that is also part of the process of healing. and also access to the right people. And that only happens when you are able to normalize and speak about things like this. And I think, like for me, you brought up yoga and stuff like that. So I have again done that since I was a little girl. I was exposed to Kalari and yoga and just a very sort of rooted way of being. That's how I was brought up. So maybe I was lucky, and I had a lot of people around me who were very exemplary and sort of were rooted, but at the same time expansive. And I think the environment that I grew up in, it has been important to not be afraid. And I think that's the first thing, to be a sort of curious child, to be comfortable in your own skin, and to not be afraid to ask questions, to not be afraid to not know something, to be comfortable to ask, like, I don't know this, can you explain? So it basically is about shedding the ego, and I think all of this also helps with the whole conversation around mental health, where, you are made to feel afraid, or you feel that you have to keep it together for a particular reason. But I think all this contributes to just the comfort around being able to be vulnerable and be able to share with people, and but I do believe that it is important to have those communities, and also a sense of self and comfort in oneself. And yes, it's really important, and the professionals who deal with things like this, I think it's very important to have that kind of access to those people, because ultimately, you and I can't solve this together. We can be of support, and we can normalize these things, but there has to be, professional help around it, and it's very important to bring that to everybody's make it accessible to everyone. I don't know if that was your question.
Yeah, that's my question. And just a follow-up, how do you deal with it? See, not every movie is going to be a success. And, being brought up in Hyderabad, then being Bombay, suppose something affects you, like I said, a movie is not a success. How do you deal with it? I know you said, Bardana, you love dancing. You've got into yoga in a big way. Are these two, or are there other ways that you deal with your...
That's actually a really good question, because it's not just us who deal with ups and downs. Everybody does. Every human being does. It's just that with us, it tends to be very public. Like the way that I deal with it, honestly, I'm also lucky that I have a great support system, like an emotional support system with family and friends, etc. But I make sure that I have the right people around me, okay? I think that's the first thing, because it's very easy to believe your own myth. So, you can have people around you who just keep building you up, and, I can believe what they tell me. And there's a fine line, because I accept all the love with gratitude, but I have to always remember that I am made of flesh and blood. I'm a human being. I'm my mother's daughter. I am, in my heart, I'm just a simple girl who feels all the emotions that any other human being goes through. I think the first thing is to realize that and to be comfortable with that. The second thing is, for me, it's very important to keep rooting myself, because, we say fly, dream, do all of that, but constantly root yourself, because it's so important to do that. Like, I feel when I'm going through something that is causing me a lot of, what I do? I actually just cry. And I think it's so important to be able to do that, and so important to be comfortable doing that. Like, some people have rage, some people have whatever. Everybody has different kinds of outlets, but I think your outlet is something that you should be comfortable with. And I'm a 5-year-old, so I cry, but as fast as I cry, I will also laugh. And I'm okay to be that. I'm okay to be vulnerable, and I'm comfortable being that, and the people around me allow that. But I also remember that, in all that noise, there is always music, and you can find the music. There may be darkness around you. You can find the light, and that is up to me to do. And I think that kind of rooting, like what we spoke about, like whether it's yoga or, singing or dancing, these are things that I grew up with. So when I say I root myself, I take myself back and sort of remember, I'm just a little 5-year-old, and this is my wonderland. And I have so many dreams to dream, and there will be ups and downs, but there's always a beautiful journey to look forward to, and I remind myself of that. And there is nothing greater than remembering gratitude. I wake up in the morning and I'm grateful, and when I sleep at night, I'm grateful, because like I was saying, you can either choose to look at all the bad things, or you can find the good things to concentrate on, and I really make a practice of finding the good things to concentrate on.
That's fantastic. Actually, I want to bring up another point, which, especially the young girls out there and the young guys out there, when I was reading more about Aditi, I found out this very important trait of hers. She accepts her body for what it is, in the sense that what the human body throws at you, she accepts it. So I hear a lot of women, girls, when they become women, trying to like come to sorts with the kind of changes that the body has to, brings about. And I just want Aditi to address not just all of you sitting in the room, but many of us, the older generation as well, on how you deal with it and how do you accept it, both physically, you don't may have much of an option, but how do you accept it mentally, and how is the best way to address it?
I think the most important thing is to be healthy in your mind and your body. And we all come naturally in different shapes and sizes. And sometimes, I say, there are friends of mine who struggle with weight or various things, and it's a reality, And we have these factory prototypes of what is conventionally acceptable and not, and various sort of people tell us these things, but I think it's up to us to decide when we feel our best. And I don't think anybody can dictate that to you. Suppose, for example, there are friends of mine who, will tell me, oh, you're lucky, you're very tiny. But I'm like, but that's my core, that's my core, that's how I'm made. But the way that you look the most beautiful is when you are fuller, and who is to say what is more beautiful? I mean, if you look at old paintings, if you look at Renaissance paintings, if you look at our own paintings, look at the women in those paintings. And I don't think anybody should dictate any of it. I really think it's so important to okay, for example, we all think that it's important to go on diets, and then there are these fad diets that we all go on, right? And I'm like, it is soul sapping. You'll be in a bad mood. You will ruin your hormonal, and especially for a lot of women, your hormones will go like completely awry, and it's not good for you in the long run. And I know you're probably thinking it's easy for me to say, but no, we all go through it at some point in our lives, where you are made to feel a certain way. And please don't think that I'm not told 13,000 things, but I think somewhere it's important to tap into your authentic self and tell yourself that when I am my authentic self, I am the best version of myself. And when I am healthy, when I'm happy, I will always be beautiful. And it's not only that, like I always feel, when I come in front of you, beauty is what? Beauty beyond the point is boring. I have to make you feel something. You have to receive my love, my kindness, or my talent, or you have to give so much more than just physical perfection. There is so much, our hearts have to connect in whatever way they can, and I think that is so much more important than any of this, and that comes when you're truly healthy and happy from within. And these are not just words. I truly believe that, and believe me, I've been brought up to sort of live that life, and I really live that life. And there are days when I have difficult days, but I always tap back into that energy, and I think it's good.
Yeah. So there's another question, because, when I studied in America, which is more than 2 decades back, the problem that a lot of Americans, the youth, felt was about looking good and about the weight problem that they had. So there was so many cases of anorexia, bulimia, all this kind of stuff, right? And we used to do, being a journalist, we were supposed to write on that. And not sooner, I came back 2 decades ago, 10 years after that, I see that rising heavily in India, right? And I'm sure many of us in this hall have gone through it or might go through it. For someone who's in an industry where you have to look good all the time, or where it's important to look good all the time, how do you deal with these, your eating habits? There are different thoughts, because when I was trying to read more on Aditi, and she'll tell you about how she eats, there's also Ayurveda which tells you eat only when you're hungry, right? But when someone is looking so perfect, I'm sure they would like to hear how you go about, this entire thing about battling the way you eat and the way you look and the amount you should eat and when you should eat. If you could just tell them about what you think works for you, may not work for them, but what works for you.
If there's some nutritionist sitting here, please don't kill me. But there are lots of medical practitioners and I don't know, people who know the rules. So I listen to my body. People ask me a lot about skincare as well, huh? And I always feel like it's really important to listen to your body and what it requires, even the weather. I mean, the kind of climate that you're in. Suppose when I'm in shooting in a colder climate, I remember I was shooting with Manisa in minus 16 degrees in Serbia. I was surrounded by snow, and I was in one thin sari and a skirt and a backless this thing, and basically going blue, green, all colors. And there was no makeup on my face. This was blue, green was all natural. It was weather conditions. And I felt like eating butter. I needed butter, so I ate it. I didn't put, again, now that is my genetic makeup. But I'm like, my body needed it, and I did not deny myself. I ate it happily, big chunks of it. But the thing is, each person's body tells them something else. I also think it's very important to keep your body clean and to be able to listen to your body. We all talk about gut instinct. I'm like, but first your gut has to be clear to have an instinct. So I think it's really important to actually cleanse your body and your mind. So this mental health, your gut, your body, I think more than starving diets and all of this, I think it's important to really know what it is that your body requires. And I'm speaking maybe in a very simplistic way, but I think there's nothing better than doing something like that. Again, if somebody has a major medical issue, they need somebody to guide them through this. And even if you don't, maybe there are things you don't realize about yourself, but this is what I do. And again, like I said, possibly my mother trained me from when I was very little, so it comes naturally to me. Maybe it doesn't come naturally to other people, but there are people to help you through that. But I do believe that it's so important to really tap into what it is that you require. There are days when I just feel like eating greens, but there are days when I just want to eat protein. There are days I want to, and I eat I eat literally I shouldn't say this, I don't know again, I eat katoris of ghee because I think it's really important. So I eat it. And anytime I feel my brain is not functioning properly or I'm feeling cranky or whatever, I know it's time to do a cleanse. And I do it. And then I feel okay again. And I think everything is connected. Again, these are different kinds. I again follow a more alternative sort of medical this thing, okay? It's not I don't take a Saradon when I have a headache, but I prefer to follow more natural kinds of medicine. And those kinds of medicine will tell you that everything is connected. So I believe everything is connected. Please don't kill me, everybody. I'm really sorry.
Yeah, so you did speak about, about how these things help you, but I'm just going to ask you, how would you start an end day? I'm not saying, first thing that I think what she said is very important is listen to your body. I think that's the most important thing. I think that's one thing that most people in the world neglect, which is basically the fundamental rule is listen to your body. At least if you don't want to hear that from me, hear that from Aditi, but listen to your body. And the second thing, Aditi, is what is your ideal day in the sense to keep, not just to keep healthy, but you do have your cheat days. So it's okay to cheat and, for everything, the way you eat. And so how can you just tell them how you go about your day?
It's not okay to cheat, but it's okay to cheat with your food.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Totally meant that.
But Okay, yeah. So, like I said, I think when your body is calling out to chocolate, eat it. But just don't eat a gallon, like don't eat like bars and bars of chocolate. Give yourself that chocolate and feel happy. Like if you want biryani, eat it. And don't keep punishing yourself for eating that biryani. You know, I feel like when people have that cheat meal, they're punishing themselves. Oh my God, now I'm going to put on weight. Oh my God, now I'm going to stand. I've done a very bad thing. I'm like, no, your body is dying to eat biryani. It was very nice. Give your body the biryani. Enjoy it, savor it. It's going to be fine. Having said that, this is only if you don't have a major issue, like with whatever. So was that your question?
Yes.
Okay. So, no, but what was your question? Sorry.
My question is basically how would you spend it? Like ideally spend it.
Oh, what would I do? What would I do?
Go ahead.
So with me, I do start healthy mostly. So I'll start with a shot. What shot? I said that on purpose. What do you think? So like a haldi shot, okay? So I have like haldi, ginger, pepper, like avla is what? Nelikai. I don't know what is correct, what I'm saying? Gooseberry, huh. So that, and literally a shot glass of that. I have that in the morning. Then I'll have one other concoction, which is like ginger, clove, cinnamon, this, that, lots of things mixed up. I'll like have it hot. Then I have I used to be a no coffee drinker, but now I have a bullet coffee because I feel the need to smile for a minimum of 15 hours every day. Because I'm like, nobody deserves a cranky actor. Nobody. So I'm like, I want to smile. I want to be nice to all my ADs. I want to be like a happy human being. I want to be kind to everyone. And I want to just have a happy day, and I want to give everybody else a happy day. So I have a bullet coffee. Anybody know what a bullet coffee is? It's a miracle drink. It's basically an espresso shot with like another shot. It's an espresso shot with either coconut oil or MCT oil and ghee. And again, coffee people will be like, ew, but it's damn good, okay? Then I have my breakfast. So I do intermittent fasting. Now again, it's something that at this point I feel that my body needs, so I do it. But I don't do it all the time. I love idli ghee podi. I have it when I want to. But most days I do intermittent fasting. Then what else? I have like a regular balanced lunch. I love my tomato pappu. I love my, like when I'm in Hyderabad, I'll have the chapal pulsu. I'll have like whatever is, and I also feel like wherever you are, have the local food of that place. Have that, enjoy that, because that is natural to that region. Your body, like suppose when when I'm in the north, they eat like, there is more ghee and stuff in their diet, more butter. I'll eat it quite happily. I'll eat the sarson ka saag with the big dollop of white butter, etc., etc. So it depends on where I am. And then I try to eat a light dinner because I don't like to sleep with a heavy system. So I usually have like something light, like either like millets or whatever, protein or soup and cutlets or something like that. So that's what I do. And when I want to eat the biryani, I just eat it. And when I'm in Hyderabad, I will eat halim. Nobody can keep me away from halim.
Yeah, so you can see her South Indian roots, the strong South Indian roots. She spoke about Nellikai, she spoke about podi, and she spoke about coconut water. So how does the South Indian manage in a very competitive North Indian industry?
Oh my God, I just turned them all into South Indians. Simple. Recently, I was shooting with a French crew, and I was, the production had very kindly brought a South Indian caterer that day. And I always bring lunch for my team from home. And that day, I had brought extra lunch for the French people as well. And when I heard that this particular South Indian caterer was on set, I have walked out of my van with so much pride and literally served everybody this food. Like I have cooked it with my own bare hands. And so I'm very proud of the food, of my our sort of food. And I think it's incredible. I mean, you cannot replace Ghee karam dosa. My God. I mean, really, there is nothing in the world that is as good as a ghee karam dosa. There is nothing to beat podi idli. There is nothing to beat chapal pulsu. I mean, you can go, like, travel the world, but you will not find that food. So that's how I deal with it. I make everybody eat it and I turn them into South Indians.
Is there any Bollywood actor, actress that you know who's from there who loves South Indian food, loves coming to your house to have the South Indian food?
So many people. So in fact, Siddharth's a very good cook. He's an excellent cook.
By the way, we're not on first-term basis with them. Who's Siddharth?
If they know who Siddharth is. He's their son first. He's the son of Telangana before I am, I think. Siddharth's my husband. My God, that sounds odd to say, but yes. So he's an incredible cook, and when he has a free day, there are many people who will be like, "Sid, will you cook for us?" And he does. He makes incredible food, but he cooks more like sort of non-vegetarian and maybe Tamil food more than food from here. But yeah.
Well, I think, first of all, I want to thank Aditi for coming all the way from Bombay. And, just for this, when you just get married, you just want to just be next to your spouse all the time. In spite of that, she took time off and came and spent time with us. So Aditi, thank you so much. And I think she gave all of you many valuable lessons about how to, one, listen to your body and many other things. So once again, from the entire Week team and all those who are present here, thank you so much, Aditi.
Thank you.